Hello again, everyone. We are once again on the air, and this is series number 188. As always, welcome. We're glad you're with us. We have a couple of new teams for you, randomly chosen for another matchup. And one of the teams is from the modern day. Actually, last season, we got the Indians from 2019 against a Mets team from the mid-70s. So it should be interesting. Two different eras, very different type of baseball, but they will clash here on Out of the Park Baseball 21. So let's begin now with our introductions and let's go out and meet the Mets. The Mets from 1975 were 82 and 80. They had two managers. Yogi Berra got the most work, but was let go later in the year. Of course, the Mets won the pennant in 73, so Berra winding down that good run with some struggles. The Mets, a decent team, nothing to laugh at. Obviously, like we mentioned, they just recently won the pennant, and some of the stars are still here. You can see here Dave Kingman, 36 home runs, only 231, but what a power bat he was. More maybe fits in today's game than back then. He struck out 153 times, but mounds of power from Kingman. You have Rusty Staub at 19 home runs and 105 ribbies, leading the team. He hit 282, so Staub, a very good year at 31 years old. Del Unser, the other outfielder there. And then we have some decent players playing at catcher as well. Jerry Grote, 295, 39 RBIs. Always a good to have a catcher who can hit close to 300. And you have Ed Kranepool at 323, a nice season. 4 homers, 43 RBIs in 106 games. Felix Milan played in every game. He hit 283 with 56 RBIs, a steady presence at second. Mike Phillips and Wayne Garrett, the left side of the infield, both hitting in the mid-250s, 260s, and not much offensive production from them. So a little bit weak there. But you do have Kingman, and you do have Staub, and also Joe Torre at 34 years old, still contributing. He got to bat close to 400 times, 16 doubles, and hit 247. So some veteran leadership there. Bud Harrelson's on this team, Gene Klein's, some other New York favorites. But, again, the lineup, kind of a feast or famine type of deal. But that's not where the story is, of course. It is actually with Tom Seaver, who we saw the last time we fired up the Mets, throw a no-hitter. So we know what he's capable of. And look at the numbers from 1975. 22 and 9, 238 ERA, 5 shutouts in 280 innings. Seaver proving why he's one of the all-time greats, and we're going to get to see him right in his prime. Look at the whip, 1.88 and 243 strikeouts. Almost 8 per game on an average. Jerry Koosman, the other arm, he's getting up there in age a little bit, 14 and 13, 342, still solid for Koosman, 11 complete games. John Matlick, 338. He was 16 and 12, got into 228 innings. A good year for Matlick, the lefty. Randy Tate struggled. On the other hand, 5 and 13 at 22 years old. Don't know if we'll see much of him. Hank Webb, 7 and 6 and 15 starts, and George Stone in 11 starts got beat up a little bit. The closer, maybe Bob Apodaca, 13 saves for him and a very impressive 1.49. So Apodaca, a good option for Yogi. Rick Baldwin there as well as the lefty Tom Hall. So Seaver leads the crew with some good arms. You can see why the Mets had a winning record. They do have some talent on this team, and maybe some veterans as well, which can't necessarily be a bad thing when you're playing in a high-pressurized series. So the opponents for the Mets are going to be last year's Cleveland Indians, another good team and a team built as well on pitching. Terry Francona led a 93-win team. They just finished behind the Twins. Didn't make the playoffs. They broke a string there of a number of playoff years. Didn't happen for them, but the talent, of course, still there, especially on the pitching. But let's go through the lineups first. The superstar, bar none, is Francisco Lindor. 32 home runs. He slugged 518, stole 22 bases at 284. So Lindor at 25 years old, one of the best in the game. Jose Martinez, 255. He hit 23 bombs and 83 RBIs. Jeff Bauer struck out 115 times, struggled at 226. The outfield is led by young Oscar Mercado. 15 steals for him, 15 home runs, 25 doubles. He hit 269. Tyler Naquin at 288, not bad. And Franmil Reyes, the 23-year-old, did hit 10 homers and 35 ribbies with the 468 slugging in limited work, so not bad for Reyes. Although I don't know if we'll get a chance to see him much with the DH clean and play. We'll see how it works out. Kippen has had a rough year for the Indians, only hitting 245. For the veteran Carlos Santana, he hit 281 at first base, 34 home runs and 93 driven in. Quite a good year for Santana. And Roberto Perez at catcher, 239, also with 24 home runs. Of course, the home runs way, way above normal in the game in 2019. That's a whole different story. So the lineup has a long ball, if not the averages, led by Lindor. We got Leonis Martin looking at the bench, as well as Yasiel Puig there, who got traded later in the year. I don't know if we'll see him since he wasn't on the opening day roster. Pitching is where the strength is, however, of course. And remember, this is during a season where the ball was flying everywhere. So you can see Sean Bieber, 15-8 at 328 for him. 259 strikeouts. Very, very good year for Bieber. 2 shutouts as well, and that's a rarity. Trevor Bauer, 9-8, 379. Slowing down a little bit is Bauer. Mike Clevenger, if he can stay healthy, which he should be for the series, 13-4 with a 271. He's very dominant when he's on. Zach Plesac got some chances, as did Adam Plutko. And Carlos Carrasco, also battling some health issues, had a rough season, but he is capable of a whole lot more. Brad Hand, he's the closer, 34 saves, a 330, 6-4 for him. Tyler Clippard, a good option, as well as Nick Whitgren. So the pen, not too bad, but it's the starting pitching where the Indians get it done. Some very impressive arms, which you know all about. Bieber, Clevenger, and Bauer, as well as some support from others. So we'll see what the Indians can do. They do have to go up against Tom Seaver, and they're not known for an outstanding lineup, so we'll see how that works out for them. They are the favorites, though. They won over 90 games. The Mets did not. So we'll be playing the first 2 at Progressive Field before heading out to Old Shea for the middle portion of the series. Don't know really what to expect in this one. Should be an interesting one. I love to play teams from the 70s going out against the modern teams because it is such a contrast in uniforms and styles, almost everything. So we are ready to go, folks. Sit back, relax. Let's see what happens here. The opening game is going to be special because we got Tom Terrific going. Seaver taking the mound, trying to give the Mets the boost here on the road against Shane Bieber, who had an outstanding year. So it should be a great pitching matchup right off the bat in Game 1. A reminder again, Seaver pitched a no-hitter the last time we saw him. So let's see what he has in store for us now. Game 1 of this best-of-7 series, the 1975 New York Mets, the 2019 Cleveland Indians. Let's head out to the action from Progressive Field. Cleveland you go. Ready for action. And Rusty stop against Bieber. And this one's hit pretty hard, deep into right field and over the wall. So a home run for Rusty Staub. He gets the Mets going here in the series and in the opening game. Silencing Progressive Field, so to speak. Let's move to the 3rd inning. Staub back up there. You don't want to fall too far behind with Seaver on the other side, and this is hit to right as well. It will be a base hit. Another run crossing the plate for the Mets, so the Mets take a 2-0 lead here in the 3rd inning. Rusty Staub, the deliverer in both cases. Here now Staub again in the 5th inning. He's 2 for 2 already. Kranepool on second. Can Staub come through again? He can. Look at Rusty go. A double into the corner. Another run scores. It is 3-0. Staub, a one-man wrecking crew, has done it all here. And we move now to the 8th inning. Del Unser up there. It's 5-0. We got A.J. Cole in the game, 2 outs, bases loaded. And this one's Mike Clearum. Down the line and left, 1 run in, 2 runs in. Here comes the third man. He is going to score. It is going to be 8-0 in favor of the Mets. What a job we have here by New York behind their ace Seaver. It's 8-1 now in the 9th inning, and we got Phil Espinosa trying to close things out. 2 outs for Jose Ramirez. The Mets well in control. Here's the pitch. This is grounded to second. And Game 1's history. The 75 Mets behind Tom Seaver. And a big offensive game by Rusty Staub. Take the opener 8-1 on the road in fine form and fashion. Staub 3 for 4, 3 RBIs, a double, 3 runs scored. Seaver went into the 7th inning, wasn't overly used. 8 strikeouts, he allowed 5 hits and walked 2. The key there, no earned runs. And Del Unser also had a good one, 3 for 5, a double, 4 RBIs in the end for Unser. A nice game for him. Staub with the home run, and Bieber struggled to get through this one. He let up a number of runs and put his team behind. After 5, they trailed it 4-0. So a great start for the Mets. They went on the road with their ace on the mound. The Mets, with their pitching, if they can get it, can really compete with these Indians, and they proved it already. So game number 2, John Matlack will face Mike Clevinger. Clevinger getting a boost here in the rotation for the series. Looks like he's healthy. Should be another good one. Matlack has the pressure now as he tries to keep the Mets going forward. Well, I guess more pressure on the Indians. For the Mets, really, game 2 of this series is kind of a go for broke. Really not a lot of pressure, actually, because they're heading home back again for game 3. So it's the Indians that really need a win. So let's find out if they get it. Moving now to Progressive Field for game number 2. Will hit this one for third. To the third we go, no score. Oscar Mercado facing Matlack. And Mercado goes deep to left to the wall. Goodbye. Home run for the kid, Mercado. 1-0 for the Indians. He pops it out of the park. A nice shot there. To the 4th we go. Unser, the hero of game 1, so to speak, at the plate. And he goes deep to right. I think we got a tie game. Unser's red hot. Naquin runs out of room, and we are tied at 1 here in the 4th inning. Del Unser goes deep. And now we got the Indians up in the bottom of the 4th with 2 outs, and Kipnis in a big spot. 2 on, 2 out. Kipnis strikes out, however, so the game remains tied at 1. Matlack gets out of that threat. We move to the top of the 5th with Cranepool up and a man on second base. Cranepool's going to single to left. Let's see if they send the runner. They will. And look at this. The Mets take the lead 2-1 on the base hit by Cranepool. We move bottom of the 5th. Naquin hitting against Matlack. Naquin splits the gap there and left. It's a base hit. So 2 men on, 2 men out. 2-1 game for Carlos Santana. Santana strikes out swinging. He can't come through. Matlack has struck out 7. And the 2-1 game remains. We move to the bottom of the 6th. Here's Lindor. Lindor's going to rip it to right. That'll be a base hit for the Indian star. He's on here for Harry Parker, who's coming to pitch. This one's hit to third, but the throw is high. It's going to be an error. And now the Indians got 2 on with nobody out. Roberto Perez in a big chance. Perez will line a single to left field. He came through there. Base is loaded for the Indians. Nobody out here in the 6th inning. And Kipnis with a huge chance. The infield is in. Kipnis will line it to center. He comes through a big hit. This game is now tied at 2. Nobody out here for Mercado, who's already homered. He takes ball 4. The Mets walk in a run, and it is 3-2. The Indians have taken the lead, and whoa, did the scoreboard blow up? 10-3 now, Cleveland. They must have had a huge inning there in the 6th. And now, Nick Goody's come out to try to put this game to bed. And Crane pull up with a man on. He will fly here to left. Fairly deep, but a man is there. And Cleveland ties this series 1-1. They beat the Mets pretty handily here, 10-3, to jump right back in and even things up before we head to New York City. There it is. They did put 9 runs, yes, 9 runs up in that 6th inning, changing everything in this game that was a tight one. Clevenger ends up getting the win. He was pretty sharp in 6 innings. Del Unser 3 for 4, another big game, a home run, an RBI, and John Matlock, he pitched okay, but the bullpen fell apart behind him, and it was smooth sailing from the Indians from there. Even though, believe it or not, they were out hit in this game, they still win it by 7, 10-3. Mercado goes deep, as did Unser, and that's a wrap for the opening 2 games in Cleveland. Now the series moves to Flushing, New York, where Mets fans will be hysterical. It is 3 in a row at Shea Stadium. Trevor Bauer will take the mound for the Indians against Jerry Koosman, the veteran. Should be a good matchup. Let's see who can get the edge in the series. These games in Shea should be fun. The Indians and the Mets ready to go. Tied up 1 game apiece. Let's head out to Shea Stadium, right near LaGuardia Airport, for game number 3. Base hit to right field for Ramirez. And now 1st and 2nd for Carlos Santana. Runners are going. Double steal is on by the Indians, and they get a wild throw, which is going to open the scoring. So they try to double steal. The catcher throws the ball into the left field, and the run scores. So Grote with the error. And it is 1-0 now. We move to the 2nd. Del Unser, the hitter. Unser goes deep to left once again. Just over the wall. Home run, Unser. His big series continues, and we are tied at 1. That one just got over. And we're even at 1 here in the 2nd inning. We move to the 4th. Roberto Perez against Koosman. And Perez will go back to the mound, a play at 2nd, and a relay to 1st, a double play for the Mets. To the 5th, still tied at 1. The pitcher up in Trevor Bauer. He'll put down a bunt here with the man on. And that's going to turn into a double play. So the bunt too hard. And the double play is turned. But Ramirez is on 2nd. We got Naquin at the plate. And Naquin's going to single to left. Let's see if the runner's going to try to score. He will. And Cleveland will take a 2-1 lead as Naquin singles in a run here in the 5th. Wade and Garrett facing Bauer. We're in the 6th now. Outside ball 4, so Garrett gets on base. And Cranepool now a chance with 1 out. Cranepool will lift this one to left, but coming on over to make the play is Luplow. To the bottom of the 7th. Del Unser now with 1 out. 2-1, the Mets trail. And Unser comes through again. He is having a heck of a series, as we mentioned. The hits just keep on coming. He's on first now with a one out for Jerry Grote. Grote will hit it to center. Going out's the shortstop, and Lindor makes a nice play. So 2 outs for Felix Milan. And Milan, a nice play on a line drive. And this inning is over. We move to the 8th inning, folks. Naquin is up. It's 2-1 Cleveland. Rick Baldwin has come in to pitch. And this one's lifted to left field. A base hit to lead off the inning. Naquin, who drove in the go-ahead run, and now there's 2 on for Jordan Luplow. And Luplow pops it up. That should be playable. Coming on over to make the play there is Staub. So 2 outs for Roberto Perez. And Perez strikes out, but the ball gets away. He might get there. Yes, a strikeout, but doesn't matter. The inning will continue as the ball got away from Grote. And now Jason Kipnis hopes to take advantage here. Kipnis is late. He will strike out, however, and the Mets stay within a run. Let's see if they can rally. Joe Torre facing Bauer, who's still in the game. And Torre will strike out. Trevor Bauer really looking good in this ball game. Wayne Garrett now the hitter. And Garrett goes down. Another strikeout for Bauer. That's 9 Ks. We move to the 9th inning. 2-1. The Indians holding on. And there's a line drive. Base hit up the middle by Mercado. So the Mets hoping for some insurance, but we'll move now to the bottom of the 9th. Brad Hand has come in to try to get the save. The Mets are down a run. It's 2-1. And here's Kranepool. This one's popped up. Tough play coming over the third baseman. Great play over there by Ramirez near the dugout. 1 out now for Rusty Staub. Here's the pitch. Staub strikes out on a 1-2 breaking pitch, and there's 2 outs now for Dave Kingman. The last man standing. 1-2 pitch. There it is. This one's lifted to right. Should be playable. It is. Naquin's got it, and the Indians in a tight game win game number 3, thanks in huge part to Trevor Bauer, who was lights out for 8 innings. Brad Hand came into the 9th and got the save, but it was Bauer who went 8, struck out 9, allowed 1 earned run, and Kuzman also pitched well for 5 innings, but couldn't get the support he needed. Del Unser 2 for 3 with a big home run. The difference in the game, an RBI obviously and a run. And now the Mets fall behind. There was only 2 hits that they got the entire ball game, which tells you something about Bauer in this ball game. He was just very impressive, had all his pitches working, and I'm telling you, when that Indians pitching staff is going, they are tough to beat. So the Mets now, after winning the opener, find themselves behind in the series. And actually, we got Brad Hand is injured after that performance. He sprained an ankle, so he will miss the next 2 games at Shea Stadium. That could be big, folks. If the games are close, the Indians will not have Brad Hand. But as we mentioned now, the Mets are behind. They're really going to want to win this one, a crucial game. You don't want to fall behind 3-1, especially with more games coming up in Cleveland, and it'd be a huge task. They can, however, tie it up if they rally here and play better, especially hitting-wise, but it won't be easy. Carlos Carrasco takes the mound for the Indians up against Randy Tate. A tough matchup for the Mets again, but they got their fans behind them. We'll see what they can do. So the Indians up 2-1. Let's head out to Shea Stadium now for game number 4. Runner on third, and there's a base hit by Santana, so the Indians will take a 1-0 lead here. First inning. Third, Garrett up with the man on second. And Garrett's going to put up a single to center field. That should tie the game. No, a runner holds up on third, so runners on the corners now for Cranepool. Cranepool will go up the middle, so that will tie the game. Runner moving to third, then Mets come right back and even things out and have a chance for more. Rusty Staub, the hitter, he's been quiet since game one, but he goes to the outfield. A nice catch in right field. Throw to the plate's gonna be late, and the Mets will take the lead here, 2-1. To the fourth we go. Roberto Perez goes deep to left field. This will tie it up. To the wall, jumping and cannot make the catch. It is a home run. 2-2 our score. Perez gets it just out of reach. And now we move to the bottom of the fourth. Wayne Garrett up with 2 on. This one's hit in the air to left field, deep towards the wall. And it is caught right up against the screen out there. Fifth inning tied at 2. Here's Kingman. Kingman goes deep to left. This one's not going to stay in the yard. Dave Kingman, his first home run of the series. He drove it like a bullet out of here. 3-2 our score. Sixth inning now. Carlos Santana at the plate. Santana will go with the pitch and hit it into the gap. So extra bases here with nobody out. The Indians looking to tie this game up. Luplow now the hitter. Luplow takes ball 4, so 2 on for Cleveland. And Naquin's the hitter. Naquin lines a single to center field. Runner's gonna score. 3-3. Our game is tied again. A good one brewing here in game 4. Here's Roberto Perez with 2 on. Nobody out. Perez to short. And a double play for the Mets. Bowers now the hitter. Stone the new pitcher. And this one's lifted to right field, but will be caught to end the inning. We move now to the 7th, tied up at 3, to the 8th, I should say. Jerry Grote's the hitter. Grote lines one. That's a hit. The catcher comes through. Bottom of the 8th. Now we continue. Felix Milan, the hitter. 2 outs, man on. And this one is hit back to the mound, so Cleveland will get out of it. We remain tied at 3-2 tonight. Roberto Perez up there. 3-2 count. Apodaca, the new pitcher. And there's a base hit up the middle. So Perez gets on. And here's Kipnis. Kipnis strikes out swinging on an 0-2 pitch. Freeman now coming on to hit. Freeman goes to second. There's the flip and the toss, a double play. So the Mets will come up in the bottom of the 9th. We are tied at 3 in a tight one. Joe Torre, Grayson Bradhand. Hand is playing, which is a surprise. Thought he was injured, but he's in there. And there's a base hit. Maybe he's playing hurt. That can't be a good thing. Here's John Milner. Milner swings and misses. And a man on first now for Wayne Garrett. Garrett takes ball 4 on a borderline pitch. And the Mets have the winning run on second base for Ed Cranepool. Cranepool, however, hits it hard to second, and the Indians get out of it. They turn a double play, and we have extra innings in New York, tied at 3 here in Game 4. And we've moved all the way to the 13th inning. Parker's come in to pitch against Lindor. Tied at 3 still. This is hit to second. So Lindor is out. 2 outs now for Luplow. Luplow goes deep to left. Could it be? To the wall. A 2-out home run by Luplow in the 13th inning, making it 4-3. That came out of nowhere. And now the Indians have the crucial lead 4-3 here in the 13th inning. We move to the bottom of the 13th. Adam Simber has come in, and there is a strikeout. He gets Del Unser swinging. So 1 out here for Jerry Grote. The Mets really need a rally, but there's another breaking ball for a strikeout. Simber looks really good, and Felix Milan, the last hope here for the Mets. He hits it softly to short. Lindor is there, and the Indians win their second in a row at Shea Stadium. This one in marathon fashion. They win it 4-3 to take a 3-1 game series lead and really now have complete control. Carlos Santana 4 for 6 in this one, a double and an RBI. Roberto Perez 3 for 5, a homer and a double. Carlos Carrasco pitched earlier, but it was the Luplow home run in the 13th that broke the back of the tie and allowed the Indians to win it. 7 runs in 13 innings for New York. Their bats are really letting them down. They had some chances to get the winning run in. They just couldn't do it and allowed the Indians to stick around until they put it away. Parker gets the loss. Simber gets the win. He was very good in his innings of relief. And now, folks, the Indians looking and dreaming about winning all 3 at Shea Stadium. Can the Mets salvage 1 game at home and try to force the series back to Cleveland? The Mets got an unbelievable task now to try to turn it around, but at least they got the next one at home, and even better than that, at least they got Tom Seaver back on the mound, exactly the way they wanted. At this point, they need him to stay alive. Shane Bieber will take the mound for the Indians. He struggled in Game 1. Thus far, the only win for the Mets in the series has been Seaver, and he'll try to do it again, while the Indians and Terry Francona, Tito Hope and his team can wrap it up here in 5 games. So let's head out to Shea and see if Seaver can save the Mets from elimination. We can see here Brad Hand is actually day-to-day with that sprained ankle, so he was able to pitch. It wasn't as bad as it seemed. So good news for the Indians as Hand is back and available and pitched in the last game. Jose Ramirez up in the first inning. And he smacks one hard off Seaver. That's up near the wall, off the wall. So a great start here. It could be 3. Ramirez with the triple off Tom Seaver in the very first at bat. Here comes Santana, running on the corners, 1 out. Santana will dump a single to left, and Cleveland will take the lead, 1-0. Just the start they would have dreamed of here. Tyler Naquin now with 2 outs. Seaver still not out of it. And Naquin goes deep to right field. Do you believe it? 3-run homer off Seaver for Tyler Naquin. What a heartbreaker this is here in the first inning. When they need Seaver at his best, he does not have it. 4-0 Cleveland on the Naquin home run. To the 5th, it's 4-1. Here's Staub. Staub will go deep to right. He's going to bring his team back. A 2-run homer. Shades of Game 1. Staub must love it when Seaver pitches. It is now 4-3. So the Mets back in this ball game. Freeman now the hitter. Freeman comes up and he gets a huge hit. With 2 men on in the 6th, he might clear the bases with 2 runs. He will. And getting the 2 runs right back is Cleveland. It is 6-3 thanks to Mike Freeman. To the 7th we go. The Indians looking for more as they close in on ending this series. Here's a long shot way back. That's going to help the cause. Another home run. 7-3 our score. Cleveland just about ready to end the Mets' dreams here and put this series away. To the 9th, it is Nick Goody with 2 outs against Wayne Garrett. Here it comes, strike 3, and the Indians celebrate. They take 4 games in a row, and 3 of them at Shea Stadium, giving Mets fans nothing to cheer about in 3 ball games. They shut the door on New York and win it. The favorites taking control after they dropped game 1, and the big statement here was in the first inning. They put 4 on the board against Tom Seaver, and Tyler Naquin was the man of the hour. A 3-run homer in that inning broke the back of the Mets. Staub had a good game, but not nearly good enough. Shane Bieber went 5, striking out 8. Another good strikeout game for Bieber. He gets the win, and Tom Seaver takes the loss in an uncharacteristic rough outing for him. Any way you slice it, though, it is the Indians who celebrate. Tito Francona had them ready to play, and they recovered well from that Game 1 loss. 4 in a row, especially 3 at Shea Stadium. Looking at the numbers for the Mets, Del Unser, a very impressive series. 455 with 6 RBIs. Rusty Staub, very good as well. Both of them were red hot. But other than that, Joe Torre hit 333. And then the numbers drop off. Cranepool 261, Grote 250. He had a rough game series defensively as well as not driving in a single run. Dave Kingman really struggled, 2 for 19, only 1 hit, which was a home run. Looking at the pitching, you can see here Jerry Kuzman in the loss pitched well. Seaver, good outing, bad outing for him, but really dropped the ball there in the last game, couldn't get it done. Matlack pitched okay in his start, and from there you can see some of the bullpen work for the Mets didn't work out, especially in the close ones and in that 13-inning marathon. For the Indians, Roberto Perez, 2 homers, 3 RBIs, 526. He was 10 for 19 in the series. Mike Freeman also was a good pinch hitter. He had a couple RBIs and a big hit. Jake Bauers, another good limited role player. Carlos Santana, 3 for 18, and Tyler Naquin, 306 RBIs, leading his team in that category. Pitching-wise, that's where the strength is for this team. The bullpen did extremely well, and then you go from there, and Trevor Bauer, great in his outing. Mike Clevenger, very, very good. Carlos Carrasco had a little bit more of a rough time, and Sean Beaver actually pitched okay in that Game 5, but it was Game 1 where he really got hammered, so the number's a little deceiving there. But the bullpen for the Indians, very, very sharp, and a lot of these games, especially Games 3 and 4, were decided late. The MVP, I'm going to go with Tyler Naquin. He hit that big, crucial home run, the 3-run job in Game 5, and actually hit 300 for the series. No one really stood out. He's the best bet in my opinion. 6 RBIs. He actually stole a couple bases and scored 3 runs. The right fielder for the Indians, Tyler Naquin. And no big surprises, as we said, and as you witness, it's the Indians who take it in 5 games, winning Series 188 and moving on to bigger and better things. For the Mets and Yogi Berra, they gave it a shot. They were just outmatched and outgunned in this one, and they will finish things off and be eliminated. So, pretty quick, not as entertaining or exciting as some of the recent series we have, but that's what you get here. Baseball is baseball. Every series is different, and this one was just controlled by the Indians. So, that will do it. We're glad you can join us here out of the Park Baseball 21 and our historical baseball matchup channel on YouTube. With the final result, the 2019 Cleveland Indians beating the 1975 New York Mets in 5 games. Thanks for joining us. We'll be back with you again. Be safe. We'll talk to you soon.